and duration.
Same location లో VPN ఒకటే ఉంటుంది.
ఒక రీజన్ కి ఒక VPN ఉంటుంది. సో మల్టిపుల్ లొకేషన్స్ ఉన్నారు రీజన్. సో వాటికి ఇప్పుడు పీరింగ్ చేస్తారు.
సాఫ్ట్వేర్ వాడతారు.
డివైస్ ఉంటే డివైస్ వాడతారు. సో ఇప్పుడు డివైస్ ఇస్ నాట్ సపోర్టెడ్ దెన్ NVA వాడతారు. నెట్వర్క్ చాలా సాఫ్ట్వేర్ బేస్డ్. అది నీకు సెల్ఫ్ సర్టిఫికేట్ మీద కదా, మన డివైస్ కి ఎంత కనెక్ట్ అవుతుంది? చాలా ఎందుకుంటాయి, ఒక సైట్ కి ఒక సైట్ టు సైట్ కనెక్టివిటీనే ఉంటుంది. నీకు వర్క్ ఉన్నప్పుడు డివైస్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది? లాజిక్ ఆలోచించు. ఇప్పుడు VPN డివైస్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఇప్పుడు NVA అంటే ఏంటి? ఒక సర్వర్ ని నువ్వు NVA కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తున్నావు. మీ సర్వర్ ఇంటికి తీసుకెళ్ళలేవు కదా. అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తావు? సెల్ఫ్ సర్టిఫికేట్ పాయింట్ టు సైట్ వాడతావు. లాజిక్ అర్థం మాట్లాడిన తర్వాత ఇప్పుడు అది VPN డివైస్. If that device is not supported, after what we are doing, just we are converting one laptop or one server into as a NVA, network virtual appliance, by installing the VPN software. అంతే. సో ఆ డివైస్ బదులు మనం NVA వాడుతున్నాం అంతే. సో దానికి పాయింట్ సెట్ సంబంధం లేదు. పాయింట్ సెట్ ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్ ఆల్ టుగెదర్, దట్ యూ నీడ్ టు install the you need to have self-sign certificate. Each self-sign certificate can be able to make you connect from the single device to on-premises to the cloud. That is overall scenario. Okay, so now, so what is the size of this virtual machine? Now let's talk about couple of things from virtual machines. So I have this virtual machine. This is the Windows virtual machine which is up and running. So what is the size of this virtual machine? If you go, what is the size? As of now it is the DSV2, right? So now I would like to see, first of all, while creating my virtual machine, I don't think it is, I'm not sure about what is the configuration do I need. So later part of I realize, so by installing the virtual machine is very slow. You want to store more data on the particular virtual machine. So later part of I would like to change the configuration of the virtual machine. So as of now, what is the size? It is a DSV2. See, by default it has been selected. DS2 V2. This is the series of the virtual machine. What is the configuration? It is a 2-core, 7 GB RAM and disks. So this is the IOPS of a particular virtual machine. Now I want to change it. On the fly, I want to change my virtual machine configuration. So just go and select it. Select it and just resize it. That's it. Your virtual machine will be resized. Very simple. So we look at the change management control. So based on the requirement, we can change our virtual machine configuration and capacity on the fly. So now go and check that it is done or not. What is no, I'm downgrading. Yes. Okay. Accelerated enable. That is the problem. Okay. Let's go to another virtual machine. Let's assume that what is the size of this virtual machine? This is also say 2 CPU with 8 GB DS to V3. That is the capacity. Okay. Now I would like to change this. Now I want to downgrade this to whatever it may be, downgrade or upgrade. We can do it on the fly. Just resize. The reset of the virtual machine happening in the background. So you no need to restart. You no need to worry about the data. So everything will be there. So just without without worrying about the data and everything, you can just simply change the configuration of your machine by resizing it. So your virtual machine has been resized. Now you can go back and check the size. See, earlier it was a V2, now it is a V3. Sorry, V2, one CPU, 3.5. Earlier it is a 2-core CPU with 8 GB RAM. So this is how on the fly you can change the configuration of our virtual machines. Now, so let me connect to this virtual machine. By default, how many disks will be provided by Microsoft to store the data? How many disks? Hmm? How many disks? Once you spin up your virtual machine, how many disks you would see?
Only one disk.
Only one. Two disks.
That is C and D. That is C and D.
Yes, OS disk, that is called a C drive, and another one is D drive, which is for temporary. Which is temporary. So the OS disk is used to store all the operating system and application files and everything. Whereas coming to the D drive, which is called as a temporary, which is does not recommended to store any important data. Why? Because if you go and look at that, by default to this C drive and D drive. So which is called as a, what is this? Temporary storage. If you go and look at this data loss warning, what is this? So the data stored in this drive is subject to loss and there is no way to recover it. Why? Because the storage, the disk is not associated to the any storage in the backend. The only OS disk is associated to your backend of the data, which is stored in the particular data center. Why? So why then, in which purpose we are using this D drive? These D drive are used to supposed to use for log storing, logs, the generator logs we do use store here, which is not important data. Okay, page files. Page files and any idea? Hmm. When you open the web app, example, let's you open the Chrome browser. In the Chrome browser, you have multiple windows. Once you close the browser, all the windows will be closed. Again, once you open the browser, all the windows will be open. How it will open? So using the page files, the data which is related to your Chrome, that will be stored as a page files. That data, the page files data can be stored into the temporary storage. Why? Because it's not an important data. So these all the kind of or page files or log files of your services all can be stored into the temporary storage. Whereas coming to the C drive, you could see that the symbol, Microsoft symbol, which is used to manage your all the data. Why? Because this VM is a managed disk. Okay. So what is the one default capacity of OS disk? That is a 126 GB. So if you want to increase, that can be also increased. So this is the two disks by defaultly available. Now assume that I want to add one more disk to this virtual machine. I would like to add one more disk to this virtual machine to store some important data. So coming to coming to the capacity, the maximum it will allow 64 disks per one virtual machine. That is based on capacity of VM. If it is a low virtual machine, I mean to say, if it is a low configuration of the virtual machine, it doesn't support 64. That is the maximum capacity of Azure VM allows. If it is a minimum capacity, it's a medium virtual machine like a small. How many types of VM? Small, medium, and large. If it is small and medium virtual machine, it does not allow you to create 64 disks. The only large and extra large virtual machines allow you to create 64 disks to store the data. Okay. So while you create your virtual machine, it will ask you that. You can see that. How many maximum disks allowed? For this virtual machine, how many maximum disks? 8. For this VM, 16. Like if you select the extra large virtual machine, maximum it is allowed 64. But in a real time, we do not supposed to have 64 disks. So you might get hell lot of performance issues having more disks. So that could be the reason. Based on the requirement, we could segregate the data into the multiple disks only. So now my requirement is I would like to add extra disk to this particular virtual machines to store my SQL data or application data separately. So what is the one disk capacity? What is the maximum disk capacity? What is the maximum capacity of one disk? Any idea? That is a 4 TB. One disk capacity is 4 TB. How many disks we can create maximum? 64. 64 into 4? 256. 256 TB. That is the one virtual machine capacity. It can be stored up to 256 TB. That is the extra large virtual machine capacity which can store 256 TB on one virtual machine. Okay. So the maximum capacity of disk is 4 TB. Now Microsoft is planning to increase up to 6 TB. That can be done very soon. 6 TB. One disk capacity going to be very soon in 6 TB. Max 4 to 6. As of now, it is a 4 TB. Now go back and add the extra disk to the virtual machine. So how do you go that? Just go to the disk. Here you could see. As of now, see, two disks ఉన్నాయి. That is the OS drive, which is called as a C and D. Now you could see here only one. That is what it is. OS disk 127 GB. Right? That could be the reason I say that the D drive does not associated with anywhere. It's just for temporary purpose, which used to store all the temporary data. Right? Okay. Now I want to add extra disks. Add data disk. Whether your disk data disk now I want to create my disk. What is my disk? Data disk. What is the resource group? Why? Because you are creating the managed disk. You mean to say it does not associate any storage account. This disk will be managed by the Microsoft itself. Okay. Resource group, location, and availability or nothing. What is the source? Whether you want to create empty disk, whether you want to create any snapshot. What do you mean by the snapshot? It's a kind of a thing. Whether we do refer to call as a backup. Snapshot is nothing but a backup. Okay. Or else you want to create the storage disk. So as of now, I don't have anything. I would like to create a now. Assume that the storage blob is nothing but you have already another virtual machine. You have one disk there. You would like to get the copy of the same disk. Then you can use the Azure blobs. That is a purely storage concept. We will talk about later. Blob storage. Okay. Just go. Just what is the capacity? What is the capacity? See, maximum it is allowed. What is this? 32767 GB is nothing but a 3 TB. What is the maximum capacity? 4 TB, right? 4 TB is nothing but 4 1027 into 4 1027 4108 already increased it. 7 divided by 1027. It's up to 31 TB. చాలా ఇంక్రీజ్ చేశారు. This is a 4 TB, 8 TB, 16 TB, 32 TB. Maximum one disk capacity is now up to 32 TB. Recently it is changed. See, enter the size of the disk you would like to create will be changed the same rate for your provision disk, regardless how much disk space is being used. Okay, among 200 GB disk of 250 GB, so you will do only for 256. I mean to say, let's assume that you have spin up 100 GB. In that 100 GB, if you use only for 20 GB or 30 GB, still you need to pay 100 GB. It doesn't matter how much you are utilizing among this 100 GB. Okay, so as of now, my requirement is I would like to create 20 GB. This is the GBs. I am creating the 20 GB disk. Just add the disk. This 32 and 16 terabyte disk only used for in the premium storage. Now the disk is successfully added. This is your data disk with the 20 GB capacity. Let's go to the virtual machine. After adding, you have to save into the see. If you look at here, encryption. What is this? What is the data? Which is the data which you are going to store in this particular disk? That would be encrypted. So the data disk will be encrypted by using the BitLocker. Microsoft BitLocker. Using this concept, we can able to encrypt all the data in the particular disks. So this is the security concept. We'll look into it later. Okay. So now we have two disks. One is data disk, another one is OS disk. If you go back and look at here in this virtual machine, even though if you save it, you could see that only two only. It is not added to your virtual machine. Now what you have to do? Just you have to mount the data, mount the disk. Just go back to your server configuration, local server. You have seen that files are storage in the disks. Now here you could see that extra added disk. What is that? This is the disk which you have added. That is 20 GB. Right. Now right click. Just create a new volume. Next. So what is the volume size? Total capacity 20 GB. So available capacity is 20 GB. Among this 20 GB, would like to use the entire 20 GB, or you would like to split it. You can split. If you would like to split this into the multiple disks among this from the 20 GB, you can do that. Else you can able to create this 20 GB directly. What is the drive of your letter? Right? By using the data disk, now you are adding into, you are mounting into your particular virtual machine of the disk. Now it is done. Here you can see. This is the newly added disk. That is the extra disk which is used to store all the data. This is how you can add n number of disks. Depends on the capacity of your virtual machine. ఇప్పుడు split అవ్వదు. So while mounting it, then only it will allow you to split it. After creating, it doesn't allow you to split the capacity. Okay. Any questions so far?
Capacity up to 56.
That is the total VM capacity. One disk capacity, ఇప్పుడే చూసాం కదా, that is the one disk maximum capacity 32 TB. 32 TB upgraded.
4 to 32.
4 to 32. Maximum one disk capacity is now 32 TB. So for the 32, if you would like to get the 32 TB, if from 8, 16, 32, you must use the premium storage, which is very costly. Okay, so now we'll talk about these extensions in the later classes when we are talking about the automation. I will tell you what is the use of these extensions now. So if you go and look at that, you don't see any extensions. We will see later. So what is the extension or how it can be utilized, these extensions in a real time. Coming to the security, as part of the security features, so Microsoft will give you some recommendations. What are the security features has been missed for this virtual machine? As of now, Microsoft is not recommending anything. This virtual machine is fine as of now. Okay, now let's talk about more into the virtual machine. So as discussed earlier, I have this virtual machine, right? I have deployed application into this virtual machine, and I have deployed the application in this machine. I have done some configuration changes related to the application, and this virtual machine is fine. Now I would like to deploy the same configuration and the same application into the 100 VMs. I want to same configuration, same application and settings, everything should be applicable for the newly creating 100 virtual machines. How it can be done? And my question is that if I have this virtual machine, I spent a lot of time to install the application and doing the settings and everything. I spent a lot of time. So the rest of the 100 virtual machines should be like this virtual machine only. There is no change on it. Then how to do it? How do you do it? And only same 100 virtual machines create. You would like to put the same effort? No, it is not recommended. Then how do you do that?
By using automation.
Automation chesna kuda, you cannot do the settings again and again, right? I don't want to do it.
Correct.
Even though if you do the automation also, you have to run that automation script to do the changes and all. But that is not recommended in my case. Then mari em cheddam?
Snapshot recovery.
Snapshot is nothing but snapshot only works for the data.
So backend function.
Snapshot only works for the data.
You can clone the VM.
Yes. What do you mean by cloning? You are creating the image. So as of now, till we have seen, we are using the images which is provided by the Microsoft. If you remember. Now I would like to create my own image. I would like to create my own image. By creating my own image, I would like to spin up multiple virtual machines with that image. Getting it or not? Now, how do you create your own image? Basically, what do you mean by image? Image is nothing but a predefined package with all with the operating system, all predefined settings. How many types of images we have?
Two types.
What are those?
Generalized and specialized.
Yes. Generalized and
Specialized.
special. What is the difference between it? Specialized is generalized images would allow you to change the configuration, but specialized is nothing but a we will treat it as a golden image which does not allow you to change. As it is, you need to create the same virtual machine by using the same image. Generalized images you can change some settings while deploying. It will allow you to do some changes, whereas specialized image doesn't allow you to do it. As it is, yes. That is. So now let's go back and create an image. Okay, this is my virtual machine. Now I would like to create an image. I have a data disk, I have an application, I have to do the some changes and user settings and everything I have changed. Now I would like to create 100 virtual machines as it is as the same virtual machine. Okay, now how to do that? So here we have the virtual machine. You can see that capture. Once you click this capture, so what you are saying, before creating an image, use Sysprep. What do you mean by Sysprep? In Windows machine, if you would like to convert this machine as if you would like to create any image, you have to use the utility. The utility called is a Sysprep. The Sysprep is nothing but freezing your entire virtual machine and converting as an image. Freezing your application and data and settings and everything, it will be freeze and it will make sure to convert as an image. Now where you could see it? Go to C drive. Linux ki different ఉంటుంది. Linux ki WD get something else. I will tell you later. What is the command used to freeze the Linux machine? Okay, let's go to Windows. System 32. You can call what is this? Sysprep. Here we have to run this Sysprep. Okay. See the system cleanup, the system out of box experience. You mean to say once it is the image generated, that should be out of box. It is not allow you to use this machine. Why? Because this machine is completely freezing. It doesn't allow you to log into this machine again. Why? Because it is freezing. So what is this? Generalize. If I click, you are creating the generalized machine. If doesn't click it, what happened? It is a specialized image. Now I would like to create generalized. The shutdown options. I want to shut down my VM after creating the image. Yes, okay. See, look at that. The process generating phase is Sysprep plugins, and it will be clean and it will be creating your image. First it will freeze and then it will be make sure to create an image. So what will be happen once create the image, this VM is no more available to you. Even though if it is a Linux, even though it is a Windows machines, once the image is created by using this machine, any machine, that image is no more available to you for the usage. See, done. The virtual machine no more available to you once the VM is freeze. Now we have done with the Sysprep. Just go and capture. So we have done with the Sysprep. So what is the image name you would like to give? Windows image. This is the one, right? So what is the resource group? Automatically delete the virtual machine after creating this image. Now I would like to, I had shut down. It is no more available. After creating the image, I don't want this VM. Any which way it doesn't allow me to log into this machine, right? So that could be the reason I am deleting the virtual machine. See, capturing virtual machine image will make the virtual machine unavailable. This action cannot be undone. I mean to say it cannot be reverted. Just a create.
In case we have no data on the cleanup purpose.
We are using the manager disk. What do you mean by manager disk?
You can edit the things. Then VM లో మనం చేసాం కాబట్టి జనరలైజ్ అంటే అయినా అది VM లో మొత్తానికి అది ఫీడ్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. సో అప్పుడు ఫీడ్ చేసినప్పుడు అది ఇమేజ్ గా కన్వర్ట్ అవుతుంది. సో డేటా అనేది ఆటోమేటిక్
అందులో ఉంటుంది. Data will be there. So even though if you are using the manager disk, the data will be managed by the Microsoft itself. You don't need to worry. See, you can see the student creating the image. That is the steps you are seeing here. So now what you are doing? You are creating the own image. You are creating the own image. Now from now I don't want to use Microsoft image. I am creating my own image. Sit down. So now if you try to log into this machine, if you say start, it don't allow you. Why? Because it is already, this VM is freezed. Now yes, ఈ VM delete అయిపోయింటుంది. You don't see it. Okay. Go to disks. What is your OS disk? This is the disk you are. Sorry, idi new disk. Even the VM deleted, your disk is there. It managed disk. Mean to say the disk will be managed by the Microsoft. Until unless you delete it, still Microsoft has your data. Okay. Now I created the image, right? So where do I see that image? Where do I see the image? Just go to all services. I see the image. This is the image which you have created. So once you click it, it will allow you to create new VM. So if you want to create one VM, just you can do it. If you want to create 100 VMs, you have to do the automation using this image. So this is your own image. This is not the image which is created by the Microsoft. This is your own image. You can spin up multiple virtual machines using this image. The image URL is this is the resource ID. This is the resource ID of your image. What is the source virtual machine? Okay, if you want to create a new VM again, see, the image name select అయింది. Now you can spin up the new virtual machine. Clear? Now this image is a managed disk, right? Now I have a question here. Back to your virtual machines. Now let me create another virtual machine which is unmanaged disk. Unmanaged disk content you have to manage your data by creating the storage account. Again, this is the important concept related to the virtual machines. Why? Because coming to the disk, so I am using standard disk. So if you come back here in advanced, I don't want to use managed disk. I want to use unmanaged. If you say click, now it will ask that what create the storage account. I am creating the storage account. This is the disk. Remember the storage is what is the LCP prod VM disk. Now I would like to show you the difference. Okay, this is my storage account. Let's see. Done.
Manage this company advertise each and every one కోసం each and every ఇప్పుడు ఈ కస్టమైజ్డ్ ఇమేజ్ అంటే డాకర్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం
డాకర్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసేవాళ్ళు ఆ డాకర్ అన్ని వస్తుంది. That is the packaging. That is the reason we do as an image which comes with predefined settings and predefined applications which you do with the image. అదే ఎగ్జాక్ట్ గా పర్పస్, దానికోసమే వాడతాం.
Prashant, Mahanand here.
Yeah, Mahanand.
Hello.
Yeah, please tell.
So you created image from image from existing VM, right?
Yes.
So once you create image, the existing VM will not available for us, right?
Exactly.
So what if it is already deployed some services on that VM?
Yeah.
Some application is already running on that VM.
Application running on that particular VM, so that could be the reason you are not deleting the data. You can go to the disks. You can get the data if you need. So just go back to the disk. In the disk.
Okay.
This is the disk of the existing virtual machine. Using this disk, you can retrieve all the existing data whenever it is necessary.
Okay, in case the service is running, we can get that service and we can copy to our newly created VM.
Yes. ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఏం చేయొచ్చు, ఈ డేటా డిస్క్ ని while creating another virtual machine, you can do that.
Okay.
So ఇక్కడ చూడండి, you are getting the option of create a new VM again. Getting it or not? Hello, is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so if you want to create another virtual machine using the existing virtual machine without doing the Sysprep, how we have to do? Just go to the particular disk and create the virtual machine from the disk. So what are the services is running on that particular operating system disk? You can create the new virtual machine using the same. This is option also available. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now we have another virtual machine. Just you can go and look at that. So this is the unmanaged VM. So student, you don't get the option capture. Then how do you create the image? Now you see the difference between managed VM and unmanaged VM, right? For the managed virtual machine, you will get the option to capture it, to create the image. Why? Because the VM will be managed and the data will be managed by the Microsoft. Here, this is the unmanaged disk. You would like to create the image by managing the data yourself. How do you manage your data? Go to the storage. Where is the storage? Yes. What is your storage? This is the one, right? We'll talk about in detail. Want to storage separate concept only. We'll talk about later. So if you go in here, this is your, what is the VHDs? VHD is nothing but your virtual machine disk data. This is your disk. Using this disk, you have to create image. Again, before that, Again, before that, what I have to do? We ఏం చేయాలి? We have to do it Sysprep again, right? For the same VM also. So after doing this Sysprep, you have to convert into the image. Here, for the unmanaged virtual machine, you don't see the option capture. అలాంటప్పుడు మనం ఎలా ఇమేజ్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం ఆఫ్టర్ డూయింగ్ ద Sysprep. Now that is the task.
ఇండివిజువల్గా మనం ఇమేజ్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి బిఫోర్
నువ్వు ఎలా క్రియేట్ చేస్తావు ఇమేజ్? నీకు ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ కావాలి కదా ఇమేజ్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. ఫ్రమ్ వేర్ డు యూ గెట్ your operating system? So that could be the reason from the existing virtual machine. Existing virtual machine lo meeku operating system, application and everything will be available. Using that we are creating the own image. So without operating system there will be no image. Then how do you create your own image then? Okay, just go to Sysprep. What is the path? See, Windows System 32 Sysprep. Generalize. I want to shut down this. ఇది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. Working on images is very important. So if you want to automate, if you want to creating the images by using the scripting also, that is called, nowadays everyone using the tool is called Packer. Packer is used to create your images by writing the scripting. You don't have all this running the Sysprep and all. Okay, the Packer again, which is introduced by HashiCorp. Packer. This is a tool build automated machine images. You have to automate it. You have to write the script. By using the script, you can create your images without doing Sysprep and everything.
Prashant,
Yeah.
the automation will use ARM templates, or is there any other option we have?
So to deploy the resources,
Correct.
we are in the ARM template and we do use PowerShell, and in this course we do cover Terraform as well.
Terraform, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So usually we prefer PowerShell or Terraform.
నేను చెప్తాను. So,
Okay.
PowerShell we discuss when we discuss. But we'll talk about what is the differences and which is the preferable for the deployments. PowerShell వాడితే ఏమవుతుంది?
See, automation is only for deployment or creating virtual machines
See, automation is the
or
different
any
ways
source.
here. So, see, what do you mean by the task and what do you mean by the deployment? The task, which your task means every day the repeated same thing you are doing, that is called as the task, right?
Yes.
That can be done by PowerShell.
Okay.
That can be done by the PowerShell. The deployments to create your services in terms of network, in terms of VMs, in terms of storage, that is not a task. Why? Because it is not automated thing. If you want to, once in a while you will do this, all these things. That can be done by ARM template or a Terraform.
Okay.
That is the main difference. Even though you can create your virtual machines using the PowerShell as well. But there are a couple of dependencies by using this PowerShell that cannot be not utilized by using the dependencies not overcome by using this ARM template or a Terraform. So that is the reason to automate the task we use PowerShell. Coming to the Terraform and ARM template, it is only used for the deployment.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is the packer. If you would like to create the scripting, so ఈ కోర్సులో మనకి ఇది కవర్ అవ్వదు. Why? Because no one is using this packer as of now. Okay, maybe in the next 1 or 2 years that may be used. The Terraform which you are referring, again using by the HashiCorp. We will talk about that in the automation. Just idea. Okay. So assume that you have created this image, right? So you cannot see this capture. What you have to do then? Just we have to go back to images. Just add the image. Okay. See, it is asking what is your blob storage. మన blobs మన VM data ఎక్కడ ఉంది? Blob storage. Just browse it. What is your storage account name? Where is your disk? This is the this is the 93. Just now I have created, right? Just select this. Now give the name whatever you want. Just say create the disk. That's it. So this is how you can create images using the managed disk and unmanaged both. So ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే do the practice for Windows and Linux. Linux లో command The command is the basically when you create an image it won't capture user and IP. It won't capture user and IP. Rest of this two, it will capture everything as an image. So here what we are doing, wget deprovision plus user. You mean to say it don't capture user information as well. So once you run this command waagent, it will create an image for the Linux machine. You try with both Windows and Linux. Okay. So now using this image, now you can create the image where no virtual machine will be available for you. This is how you can create the multiple images. Using this image, you can automate to create n number of virtual machines. So how do we create this using the images? We will talk about later when you go for the automation. Clear so far? Any questions? Any questions? You JSON annare, idu JSON.
Yes.
You have to write the script to automate your resources. Okay, I will tell you this all. Clear, right? So do practice creating the images for Windows and Linux both. The command is for Linux machines is waagent plus deprovision for user. If you want to have that user, you can have the user. Mostly for the images, we don't refer to have this username. That is the reason that is we delete the user. By default, while creating the image, it doesn't capture the IP. User and clear? See you on Monday, 7:30 same time. Okay, practice it and let me know have any questions.
Linux machine చేస్తాం సార్ అది వర్చువల్ మెషిన్ చేస్తాము ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసిన తర్వాత చెక్ ఇట్ అనేది అది ఎలా చేస్తాము ఇంకో లైనక్స్ మిషన్ ఇంకో లైనక్స్ మిషన్ ఇంకో లైనక్స్ మిషన్ ఇంటర్లింక్ చేసేసాం అప్లికేషన్ వెబ్ సర్వర్
Very simple. మీరు apache.config file వెళ్ళి apache.config file లో you can change that configuration. ఇప్పుడు మీకు ఏమొస్తుంది అపాచీ రన్ చేస్తే డిఫాల్ట్ గా టెస్టింగ్ అని వచ్చేసి కింద అపాచీ వెబ్ సర్వర్ ఇస్ రన్నింగ్ 1 2 3 4 అని వస్తుంది. You want to change that, you can change that text. దట్ ఇట్ జస్ట్ ఫర్ ఐడియా అంతే, అలానే చేయాలని రూల్ ఏం లేదు. మీకు లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సర్ ఎట్లా వర్క్ అవుతుందో చూపించడానికి నేను అట్లా చేశాను అంతే. క్లాస్ ఏంటి